Well, good morning. Good morning. Well, actually, morning. Almost noon. Hey, another beautiful day to draw. Time to sketch. Hoo-ha. Well, I wonder what we're going to do today. I don't know. Let's see. Well, let's find out here. We're going to see what we're going to do here. Let's make sure we got everybody where they need to go. Hmm. Well, let's see. So, I I was just the other day. I was listening to some music, and I was thinking about what the music was implying, and so I was just kind of sitting back and enjoying it, and I was thinking about how music really can inspire you artistically. It can really kind of help you. At least in the past, it's helped me in the past to be creative because I can listen to particularly classical music or sometimes jazz. It really just it depends. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything in particular. And if you think I'm drawing myself, I kind of am. um, sort of vicariously. I don't know. Anytime I draw a guy that looks black with mustache and a goatee, it's probably me. Of course, this would be the younger version of myself when all my hair was black. Unlike now, where I've got the salt and pepper going on. So strange sometimes looking at myself in the mirror. It's weird. It's like, wow. Hard to believe I'm going to be 70 years old in August. 70. Oof. Old man. The old man. Well, it's the old saying, age is only a number. I don't know who said that, but there is some truth to that. Sadly, wisdom doesn't just automatically come with age. Um, trust me, I know. But you do start to learn things. You do start to grasp things. Some things start to make a lot more sense. I think when you get older. At least that's what I've noticed anyway. Um, you start to figure things out a lot better. I think there's you figure out ways of doing things. This is kind of fun. What do you think of that? This is a texture brush. It's like, huh, look at that. Get that nappy hair. I don't think I ever had an afro like. Well, no, actually, I did. I had an afro like this one time. Gosh, that was a long time ago. Let's see. Bring this down. Hmm. Gosh, that's kind of interesting. I guess I need to start using these texture brushes in Storyboard Pro more often. Look at that. Gosh, I would not have thought it was going to do that. Wow. It's like you're kind of limited, though, with these things. It's like you have to, yeah. It seems to like a wider area to work so that you get more, the fuzziness of the line looks like it needs more room to operate. Let's see here. I think I can do a better job on this eye here. Let's see. So we're gonna go back to that brush. Yeah, man, I tell you, working with a computer, golly, wow, what fun, man, oh man. This is I don't know what it is. It's just something about it's I'm so addicted now to what I can do with this thing. There's just things that I can do with the computer that, man, it's really freaking cool. I love it. I love the fact that I can change the size of something really quickly. You know, I can just doodle, and everything will just be right where I want it to be. I love that. That is awesome. Man, it's so awesome. Because it's like, man, back before when I was young, it's like everything just took long time. I think this is one of the reasons why, too, I really appreciated certain artists that could draw so clean and they could just kind of look like they got it right out of the gate. Because most of us would, when we would draw, we would do. You ended up having to do a lot of what's the word that I want to use? You ended up having to do a lot of erasing and changing and stuff, and that was just. I mean, you didn't mind doing it because you knew that was how you got a better quality thing, right? But at the same time, it's like, boy, you got to wait. You know, the process of having of waiting and having to like, okay, well, it's like a delayed gratification. You know, so oops. But yeah, it's a delayed gratification because you're wanting to get well, I did anyway. You want to get to the good stuff. That's been my problem over the years is wanting to get to the good stuff, wanting to get to the finished thing, and it kind of really being really, for lack of a better way of saying it, impatient. Really, I think that's why I like drawing clean so much because I like to just get to the point. You know, and back, like I said, back in the day, we had to. You had to erase a lot. You do a sketch. I think I talked about working on the tracing paper before or something. I said something about that, and that was a thing. And I'm not gonna. Maybe at some point I'm not gonna say I would never show you how we did that, but those of us old artists like me know what I'm talking about when I say working on tracing paper because that was a big thing. That was a big deal because you had to go through sometimes these layers of tracing paper to get your drawing right and to get it approved and do the final. There was just all these stages you had to go through, and so it just put off. It delayed the gratification. It delayed you getting finished with whatever it was you were trying to do. And so for me, I would I struggled with that because I didn't like having to wait. And even more importantly, I think the real issue for me anyway was I knew I could make kind of a nice looking finished drawing. So I was always kind of it was frustrating to me because I was like, doggone it, I know I can do the drawing will be nice when it's all done. So then I would, so I'd just get frustrated because I was like, doggone it. I don't, why am I having to wait when I know the drawing's going to be nice when I'm all finished with it, right? That's what used to bug me. That's what got under my skin. So, yeah. So anyway, the working with the computer now is I just think it's really pretty awesome because of what you can do with it. It's like you can sketch something, but then you can also, drop another layer on top and clean it up real fast, and drop color in it and everything. You can size it up and size it down. There's just the things that you can do with the computer so instantly. For someone like me who's learned this the hard way, it's just like a breath of fresh air. And it's like suddenly anything I want to create, um, I can envision it so much faster. I can get to the point of what I want to do so much faster. That's the thing I like the most about it. That's what floats my boat, gets me excited, is that flexibility to be able to do that. Yeah. Let's see. What do I do here? I don't know. Let me think. All right, let's see. Now if you're wondering who I'm going to draw now, let's see. You say, who's this? Well, if you're wondering who this person is supposed to be, yeah, believe you me, this person is a lot prettier than the way I'm drawing her. It is my wife of 40 some years. One of the most patient women that I know. And when her and I were young, well, let's just say my wife was and still is, as far as I'm concerned, a beautiful person, um, beautiful woman, beautiful looking woman. Anyway, she's very she is a very strong individual now, and I love her. You know, we have three lovely daughters, and she is a good woman, and I'm thankful to have her. So there you go. Anyways, the woman behind the artist. My wife also is an artist too. For those of you who don't know, Bonnie is a very good artist. She was an assistant animator. That was her job. She used to work for Hanna-Barbera years ago, and yeah, she's a very very qualified, overqualified assistant animator, and a harsh critic, I'll say, but not without justification. You know, I've always given my wife credit where credit is due. She's it's interesting. Let's see. Make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, my wife is really, really. She has a good eye. She has a good eye. She really seems to be able to see. She catches what's wrong with something pretty easily. She really has a good barometer of like what makes something work. And not quick with compliments. Believe me, I know. Not quick with the compliments. You know, you almost kind of had to earn and still do, I think, her respect about something because let's see here. I think I need to move that a little bit because she doesn't give out compliments easily. She's very. Hey, she's not overly critical. I don't mean that. She's discerning, you know, and she comes from a family. I mean, her father, God rest his soul, was also an artist. Um, George Martzigas. He started he was one of the men instrumental in starting the animation school at Sheridan College in Toronto, and very talented. He himself was another one who very very talented man, and you know, good man, good Christian man. So, anyways, interesting. Gosh, I would never have thought this is what I was going to draw right now. Hmm. So there you go. But he's doing something that in the picture here she hasn't done in a while. But I can dream, can't I? let's let's see. I guess maybe just a light color on the hair here. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. My wife, a very talented artist. She worked, like as I mentioned before, she worked at Hanna-Barbera. She was an assistant to a guy named Ernesto Lopez. Ernesto was a great animator, really sweetheart of a guy. She also was an assistant to Irv Spence. I don't know if you know who that is, but Irv Spence was one of the great MGM animators the back in the '40s, I believe. And, he's known if you his you probably if you've seen the old Tom and Jerry cartoons, that was what Irv Spence did. He was an animator on that, one of the main animators actually. I got to work with Irv Spence when I was at Bakshi Studios back when I first came into the business, and that's before I even met Bonnie. But I guess he worked at Hanna Barbera for a number of years. And, he's one of those guys, kind of got around and worked at all the studios. A lot of those guys, they were like that. A lot of those guys worked for a lot of places. And so that was very common for guys like that to be working at all these different studios. So that's what that was all about. But anywho, Z's. So this is me and Bonnie walking along. There we go. Ding, 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 ding. Let's see. Put a light shadow on my wife's face here. So maybe, just a light shadow. Yeah, like I said, golly, I just love what you could do with digital art. My goodness. What a cool thing. This is the coolest. See, because you finish something, and you can publish it, you see. Yeah, man. I mean, like all the kind of stuff I'm doing now, YouTube and all this. Man, this is like a dream come true to me. I'm so glad that I got to live this long and be able to do this kinds of stuff because it's just a very different world. Boy, I made my lips real. Okay, more in lipstick or something. Let's see here. Pull that out. Okay. There we go. Interesting. Let's see. Pull this up here. All right. Take that out. Put it black. And what's on the top? Yeah. Yeah. It's just to me, it's like the ability to do this kind of thing and do it so easily and quickly is what I just love. Um, I love the flexibility of it. That's what I really like. Let's see here. What am I doing? I wasn't going to draw my kids here, but I think I'm just going to draw some kind of creature here out of. I was going to draw. I might later on. And see, that's the other thing too. Is like if I did want to draw my kids later, I could do that. Maybe I should put this on a separate layer. But I can even do that. See, I mean that's another thing is that the I can change stuff. See, and that's something that I love is that ability. Gosh, man, I tell you, you kids don't you young folks today, you don't have any idea. I mean, see for you, this is like no big deal, right? You all were born into this. You already know about computers and so you listen to me talk, you go, what's he talking about? Computers, man, that's the way. Yeah, because that's all you guys know. you know, Old birds like me, we didn't have this. We just to be able to do stuff with ease and just and it's all done and man, see, I mean, I really, really appreciate what this is, or what it means that to be able to do this. I really, really, really appreciate it because it was not an easy thing for me. This is not what I was accustomed to, right? So that's why I appreciate it so much because it's foreign to what I was raised as an artist. We didn't have we didn't have anything that would do this. You couldn't undo something. You couldn't, grab it and make it bigger. You couldn't do that. You could not do that. You want to make something bigger, you had to. I mean, well, one thing. Well, yeah, we could go and Xerox it and make it bigger, but even that was a lot of work. I mean, golly, you had to take the image and take it to the Xerox machine. Yeah, the Xerox machine, and then you had to put it on the Xerox machine. Then you had to blow it up to the size you wanted. Then you had to go back to your original art work piece or whatever it was and position it. That was a big deal. And then you had to go and, map it back into your Illustrator. I was like, hey, what do you do today? You grab it with the select tool, you size it up, you size it down, you're freaking done. See, you young folks, you young whippersnappers, as always old people like to say, you got it easy. You do. Zing, bang, boom. I mean, you guys, you could not handle the time period, the time that we'd have to spend on a piece of art. You would not have the patience. The kind of stuff we had to go through just to do something simple. Just to do something simple was effort. That's why when we look at what computers can do now, we say those of us who, like I said, are my age and older, we look at it as like it's a magic trick or something like this. Is awesome. Man, what we would have given to be able to have something like this. Are you kidding? We would have just and like I said, and you can do your own film. You can make um, that's another thing is that you can make something. You can make your own animated movie and make it within a reasonable amount of time, before you die. Whereas back when, we were coming up and you wanted to make an animated film, you knew automatically that was going to be a lot of work. And that was going to take a lot of time. And, you had no idea how long it might take you to do that. See, something as simple as what I'm just doing right now, just moving that back. That's nothing to say, but it's work. See, so all right. Anyways, let's see. So, excuse me. So, hey, we'll stop there. Let's see. Okay, we'll stop there. So, hey, y'all have a beautiful day. I'll see you on the next iteration. Keep those sketchbooks going, baby. All right. Remember, Jesus is